Every single person in this world has a story to share. Your story is your superpower, and it's unique to you. In sharing it with the world, you can impact millions of people. If you keep it to yourself, you are doing the world a disservice. This is Dela. I'm the host of Delasvoice, and I help you share your superpower with the world.
Hello and happy Sunday. Well, maybe not be Sunday in some parts of the world, but it is Sunday here in Canada. So happy Sunday and welcome back to another Delasvoice Sunday live talk show. As always, I'm going to start with paying my gratitude for being able to do this, which is what I love to do. It's my passion to bring you stories from people all over the world. Stories of incredible individuals who have lived through struggles, their own experiences, their own stories, and are willing to share those stories with the rest of us so that we can get informed, inspired, and motivated to do something to uplift ourselves and to live our best lives. Today's incredible story comes to me from an amazing man, which you're going to meet in a little bit. He doesn't really need an introduction, but I'm going through his bio to just give you a little bit of a background. My guest today is Sam Humphrey. Sam is a New Zealand based actor who was born in Australia. And he is best known for his famous role as Tum Thum in The Greatest Showman, a film that was Oscar nominated and Golden Globe Award winner, and alongside Hugh Jackman. Sam walked the red carpet, and you'll learn today that this was his dream come true for so many years. He had this dream when everything appeared to be against it, and against all odds, Sam made his dream come true. Today is all about igniting possibilities. Sam is a speaker, an actor, and a producer, and currently lives in Los Angeles. He's recently co-authored in a book called Ignite Possibilities, and his chapter is from, forgive me, let me have a look so I don't give you the wrong name, From Near Death to Hollywood. And we're going to hear all about Sam's story today. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching this show right now, please share it with others, because the message from today's show might just be what someone needs to get out of their dark moment and believe in possibilities. So please help me welcome Sam Humphrey on Delasvoice. Hello, Sam.
Hi, how are you? Nice to see you again, and I am so honored and grateful to be on your show.
I'm so happy you're here, Sam. I waited a long time for this show.
Me too.
I'm so happy you're here. Thank you. And just to give people a little bit of where you come from, I read that little tiny bio, but I mean, there's so much more to your story, Sam, and that's what we're gonna talk about today. Are you actually right now in LA?
I am. I am currently in Los Angeles. That's where I'm based. And also just a little slight correction is I was actually born in New Zealand, in Auckland. So I am a Kiwi.
Oh, you were born in New Zealand,
Yes.
raised in Australia. That was
Raised in
my
Australia.
bad.
Yeah.
Yes, that was
No
my bad.
worries.
Sorry about that. I'm sorry
All
about
good.
that. Thank
Kiwis
you.
and Australians, we have a little friendly rivalry. So, like any Kiwi that is said to be from Australia or an Australian said to be from New Zealand is like a little bit of a tip.
Ah. Well, I wouldn't know the difference between a New Zealand accent and an Australian accent. Are they very similar?
Um, they're a little similar. However, mine's kind of blended together with the New Zealand, Australian, and a bit of an American accent now. So you can't really tell where I'm from.
Yes, 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 yes. Well, Sam, welcome on the show.
Thank
And
you.
I just want to take a moment and thank the people who are viewing us as we do this show live.
Mhm.
Leave us comments, leave us your questions, leave us your experiences and any questions
Absolutely.
that you have for Sam. I promise I will read them and we'll get him to answer.
Mhm.
Also share this with other people because the message is amazing. Amazing.
Thank you.
Let's jump in, shall we?
Absolutely. Let's.
Okay. All right. Well, here's the thing. From near death to Hollywood. That's the title for your chapter that you co-authored in Ignite Possibilities book.
Yep.
Why did you pick that?
So my whole journey has been about creating the journey and creating the dream that I always wanted to live. And so from my experiences and the challenges that I went through, and my philosophy of no regrets, I wanted to make sure I achieved and accomplished all the things that I wanted to. And so as I talk about my journey, you see that it really is from near death to Hollywood because I started my life, in hospital, and my whole journey has been in and out of hospital. And from where I started to where I am today, it really is a journey of, coming from near death to Hollywood. So that's why.
I really believe that every life is a miracle. But I
100%.
do, yeah. So when I read your chapter, and I really thought, oh man, his life is a true miracle because
Oh, thank you.
yeah. I mean, against all odds. First of all, you had well, your parents. They were told that you might not make it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
As you were
yeah.
being born, and
Mhm.
then you were born, and they still weren't sure if you were going to make it.
Yeah, yeah. So my parents were told before my due date. My mom was told that there were complications with my birth, and they were advised to deliver me prematurely. However, they decided against that, and they decided to have me delivered on my due date, which was April 24th. And that is my birthday, April 24th, and I'm 27 today. So, well,
So
this year.
you know my birthday is April 21st. Did I tell you this before?
Oh no, I did not know that. There you go. We're tourist buddies.
Taurus buddies. That's why we get along so well.
Oh, totally.
So then you make it through birth,
Hmm.
and soon after, um, your parents find out that you have a genetic disorder.
Hmm. Yep.
And so tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was around about the age of 3, I was diagnosed with a condition called acrodysplasia, which in plain English basically means my bones don't grow or develop to that of the normal stature of a adult or person my age. And so basically, a lot of things that came with that was like things. So some of the symptoms that came with that was things like low IQ, physical deformities. My mental IQ is not like necessarily as sharp as someone without acrodysplasia. And then there were also a lot of development delay issues, which was kind of what led to a lot of my challenges as I grew up, going through my childhood and going into my teen years. So yeah, there were a lot of challenges with that.
So you were smaller then,
Mm-hmm.
and you said in your chapter that you always thought you were different. You just didn't know why.
Mm-hmm.
And you said your parents kept telling you that you're special, that you're unique and you're special, but you didn't believe it.
Mm.
And at some point, and you were raised in a church-going family.
Yeah.
And so you said God doesn't make mistakes.
Mm.
So how come he made me look so different?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. When I was growing up, I felt very insecure about myself, and I didn't want to, despite the fact that everyone told me that I was special, I didn't want to, be special. I didn't want to stand out from the crowd, and I mean, nowadays, that's completely different. I want to be different from everyone else. I want to be unique. But when you're growing up and when you're a teenager, there's so many pressures on you already, and there's, the world already puts their perspective of who you should be and how you should look and how you should act and, what you should do. The world puts so much pressure and so many labels on you. And when you're trying to discover who you are as a adolescent, as a teenager growing up, it was very hard to, find out who I was, and for me to discover who I was with all of that pressure on me. So yeah.
So you're going through all of this, and it's difficult as a child, but inside of you, there's this talent brewing,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you knew from like early on that you loved acting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so when I was around about the age of 5, I started doing some like little mini skits and plays with my siblings and family, childhood friends for our parents. We would put on these little mini plays and force our parents to sit down and watch them, whether or not we were any good. Who's to say? Um, but so from doing those, I found at that early age that I enjoy, being in the spotlight, and I enjoyed performing. And then jump forward to around about the age of 8, I saw Hugh Jackman on the big screen and on television at home for the first time. And that really kind of inspired me. And I really wanted to do what he did, and the kind of work that he did. Um, and also another thing that what I found that through acting, it was a form of therapy for me. With all the challenges and all the struggles that I went through, depression and unfortunately dealing with suicide throughout my teen years, acting was a very therapeutic thing for me, being able to sort of step outside of who I was, Sam Humphrey, and being able to take on another character who wasn't dealing with all of the struggles and all of the things that I was going through. So I was
Yeah.
able to completely remove myself from who I was and take on a different persona.
That's so cool. So Hugh Jackman, of course, he's really cool,
Yeah.
and as Wolverine. So you
Mm.
started actually making claws, and like you pretended you were Wolverine.
I did. Yeah.
So he kind of became your hero.
He did. I mean, I can't really think of anyone else who I looked up to more than Hugh Jackman in terms of, being my role model as an actor and as a philanthropist. He does so much, good for the world. And I really want to follow in his footsteps, in terms of everything that he does, as a speaker and as an actor, as a performer, a philanthropist. He's just a decent, kind human being. And I think that's the example that, I try to set. For everyone that looks up to me as a role model, which again, I'm always humbled and completely honored by the fact that so many people do look up to me, because who am I? That's all that's always the question I ask myself. I always ask myself,
Man.
who am I? I'm just another human being who's fortunate enough to have lived the life that I've lived and experienced the things that I have, and I now have a platform to be able to share, the experiences I've lived and the wisdom and knowledge that I have gained along the way. And I definitely find it a very important responsibility for, what I share and what I talk about on my platform as a role model and inspiration.
Wow. Okay. Should we look at the comments a little bit and see what people are saying?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, you tell me if you know. So some people that are on here are Frida, Babak, Deborah, and Deborah says, "I'm so excited about this one, Dela, this show. Looking forward to meet Sam." Let's see, Mercy Valdez is here and says, "Love Sam." Love Sam.
Thank
And
you.
people are
Thank you so much.
welcoming you to the show. And Stephen, Coach Larry is here. I love Coach Larry.
Hello.
He's the reason why I got to meet Sam, which I'm so delighted for. And he says hello. And let's see what else. Okay, Deborah Sweezy, I will introduce you to Sam so you can invite Sam on your show. Absolutely. Actually, Coach Larry says, powerful. God doesn't make mistakes.
I believe that now.
Yes, you are fearfully and wonderfully made.
Oh, thank you. So are you.
True. It's so true. We go through so much to learn what we know today, and we're going to come back to that. Mercy says, "What an incredible journey, Sam. Loved you in The Greatest Showman and any other movie projects in the near future." And we'll come back to that, right?
We will.
Okay. All right. Okay. I want to continue the story. You started doing all these like little acting at home with your brother and sister, and your friends, and then you get to high school. Now, high school is a different beast, isn't it? I mean,
absolutely.
Ooh.
You never know what to expect in high school.
Man. Okay, so what's happening in high school?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, high school was kind of the bulk of time where I experienced a lot of my challenges and struggles. Now, going through high school, I always put on a brave face, and I wore a disguise a lot of the time, because I did not want people to see, I didn't want people to see the struggle and the challenges that I was going through. To all my friends and all my teachers and everyone who saw me through high school, if they knew me, they would probably describe me as a very happy, friendly, go-lucky, down-to-earth guy. And that's definitely who I was. But beneath the disguise, and as I mentioned in my book, behind that disguise, I was hiding a lot of, pain and a lot of hurt and a lot of suffering. Behind the smile and the laughter, there was depression. There was, a feeling of not belonging, not being able to find my place in the world. And that kind of comes back to, me being an actor and being a producer in Hollywood, is that from the perception that we get from Hollywood these days and, throughout the past, it's been very hard to see, yourself in mainstream media and in Hollywood. And that's one of the things that I struggle with, is seeing someone that looked like me and seeing a proper representation of myself in mainstream media and seeing someone like me, being quote unquote successful, and again, success is open to interpretation. So that kind of fed back to me in high school, not seeing, someone like me, experiencing what it meant to be successful in the world. And so I didn't have that to look up to. And so I felt very, very lost in my, experience during high school.
Well, high school is hard. It's just difficult for anybody. I don't care who you are, and I know that a lot of us go through high school and put on a face, put on a disguise, because we want to look a certain way. We want to have a certain reputation. It seems like such a long time ago, and it is a long time ago, Sam.
Feels like a long time ago for me too.
But it's true. It's a totally different beast, and a lot of kids do suffer through high school, and a lot of kids do go through depression and anxiety and suicidal thoughts. And that happened to you.
Yeah. And I mean, just speaking on the mental health thing, I think there's so much pressure from the world and society there to, quote unquote, be a success. And I think one thing that is lost on, society is what exactly the definition of success is. Like, society pressures us to be, successful in this way and that way, and however, society frames success. But success is, whatever it means to you. If you want to be happy, if being happy is success to you, great, then just be happy. If making money is successful to you, then go out and make money. It's whatever it means to you. That's all that matters.
Yeah. What helped you through high school, Sam? What kept you alive? What kept you from taking your own life?
Yeah. So I'd say a few things that kind of helped me through that time and that phase was, I think, my personality, my determination. I think the very last time that I unfortunately did try to commit suicide was in the bathtub. I went under the water, I took a deep breath, and I went under the water. And I think as I was about to let the water kind of come into my lungs, I started to think about my family and my faith. As we mentioned earlier, I grew up in a Christian home, and I grew up in the church. And believing, trying to believe that God doesn't make mistakes. I couldn't do that to my family. I couldn't do that to my friends. And I guess there was a little voice inside me that kind of said to me, this isn't the end. There's so much more to your journey and your story than this. And so I couldn't end it there. And I'm very, very, glad and, praise to God that, He stopped me from doing that as well, because
Me too.
I tried many, many times, unfortunately.
Oof. I'm so glad you weren't successful at that. That's for sure. Someone, Debbie asks, what would you say was your biggest supporter throughout your life growing up, and how?
I would say one of my biggest supporters was two things, actually. One was my faith. Even though it was shaky at that time, it was still very helpful to know that even though I was dealing with all those challenges, I still believed that God loved me. And so even if I didn't feel like I fit in the world, I still had my faith, and I still believed that God did love me, even if I thought I may possibly have been a mistake. And then number two was my friends. I had a very strong friendship support group. They always told me how much they cared about me and how much they valued me. And, my best friend of 10 years now, which was actually just his birthday the other day. So happy birthday to him.
Happy birthday. What's his name?
Nathan.
Nathan, happy birthday.
Yeah, so me and him, we grew up together in Australia, and we've been best friends now for about a decade. So he was my biggest support system. Without him and without some of the friends that I relied on in school, I don't think I would be here today. Because without them, I wouldn't have seen the light at the end of the tunnel without, some of my closest friends. So they really helped me to get through that by, showing me that I mattered and that they loved me and they cared about me, and expressing that, life would never be the same if I had committed suicide.
Thank you for answering that. So after high school, so you get through high school and still nothing about acting or anything like that is happening. You get into hospitality. You start working.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you work in hospitality. You say your brother was one of those people who you looked up to, right? And so one day you're sitting in the car with him, and he asks you a very important question. What is it?
He asked me if you could do anything in the world, if you had all the money in the world and all the time in the world, what would you do? And he already knew the answer to this question, but he wanted me to say it out loud. He wanted me to admit it so that, I couldn't shy away from it. And I said that I'd be an actor. And I think that was a realization moment for me. And as I mentioned in the book, that is called my ignite moment. And so after that conversation, it really hit me hard that I wasn't really giving it 100% of my energy, commitment, and focus. And the reason...
Why, Sam? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And so, the reason I unfortunately didn't kind of commit to that was because I was very, very scared of failing. And I have a very, very different attitude towards that now. My attitude towards failing is, a positive attitude. For me, I'm like, you know what? You need to fail in order to succeed. And so after that moment with my brother, I realized that I wasn't trying. I wasn't giving it everything everything I had. And so after that moment, I really committed myself to, being an actor. And I really tried. I really put myself out there. And I definitely did, I definitely failed many, many, many times. I did audition after audition. And as an actor, you have to be used to rejection because you face rejection every single day. And I think before I got back into acting, I did many other jobs, which kind of helped me prepare myself for getting back into acting. And doing all those other jobs, helped me to be grateful for, being an actor and being my own boss, because I realized that there are a lot of jobs out there that suck, to be completely honest. And being able to be an actor and do what I truly enjoy and do what I'm passionate about, what more can you ask for? So, yeah.
I want to go back to what you shared, and I want to do that, but we're just going to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back. And I wonder if there's a little connection problem that we're seeing. I don't know. I'm going to ask our viewers, do you see any connection problem? Do we seem to be cutting out? But so we're going to be right back. We're not going anywhere, okay? And so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Stay there.
Stay there.
Welcome to Flowers and Things Flower and Gift Shop, serving Newmarket, Ontario and area for over 18 years. Flowers and Things Flower and Gift Shop is here to make your flower sending experience a pleasure. Please visit us online at www.flowersandthingsflowerandgiftshop.com or call us at 905-830-0024. Flowers and Things Flower and Gift Shop. We thrive on your satisfaction.
And we're back with Sam Humphrey. So happy to be here with you today. Okay, so before we left on our break, I asked people to give us a little bit of a feedback to see if there's any glitches. A few glitches here and there, Coach Larry says, but I hope nothing huge. So as long as we can get the message across, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So you said something really, really cool. You said until that moment when your brother asked you that question, you know, if there were no time or money limitations, what would you do? Until that moment, you had never said that out loud, even though you knew that acting was your passion, that you were going to be an actor. You never really said that because you were afraid of failing. And how many times and how many of us have done that in our lives, where, you know, we don't do something because, or we don't admit something to ourselves because, oh, what if I fail? So sad, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, failure can stop us from doing so many things in our lives. And that's why my personal philosophy is living life with no regrets. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I am an actor, is because I don't want to get to the end of my life, you know, whether that's, you know, 70, 80, 90 years old, and look back and say, why didn't I give it a shot? Or, you know, what could have been if I had tried? That's honestly, that is my biggest fear in life, is having regrets about the choices I made, you know, throughout my life.
Oh, you're so right. So after that admission to yourself, then what happened?
So after that, after I realized that I wasn't really giving it my all, I started, you know, putting more time, more focus into it, and I started kind of committing more to it, and getting headshots and doing more self tapes and getting classes. I joined an acting class. I got coaching. I started taking more steps towards it than I had before. And I had signed up for an agency in the UK, a talent agency, and that was the whole start to me landing Greatest Showman, because I signed up for this talent agency in the UK, and I actually forgotten that I had this talent agency. 2 years went by, and I had done a documentary with one of my family friends that I had been doing the little skits for when we were younger. And she worked for a non-profit company called Attitude Live. And the focus of their organization was to create documentaries and follow the lives of young people with disabilities that were chasing their goals and their dreams. And so there's a documentary called Being Me, Sam Humphrey. It's a 2-part documentary where they follow me pursuing my dream of being an actor. And part one, they shot me auditioning for Neighbours in Australia. And that audition initially was only supposed to be a mock audition for the documentary. But as it turns out, I had impressed them so much, and I blew them away with my acting, that they decided to create a role on the show for me. And that was a stepping stone from Neighbours to Greatest Showman. So yeah, it's all about the dots that connect, you know, your story when you look back.
Yes. So you start taking steps towards something that you're passionate about, and that makes me think of you know, so many of us, we have these dreams and aspirations, and we want to do stuff. First of all, we don't admit it to ourselves because we're so afraid of admitting, but that would mean that I would have to do something about it. And what if I do something about it and it doesn't happen? Then I failed. And then what would happen? So that's a part that's like a real roadblock. And then you know, the taking actions, right? Those steps that we have to take. You have to do something in order to be something that you want to be, right? And so you started taking actions towards becoming an actor. So then you auditioned and you did this and you did that. But something else, you said something. You stood by a window
Mm-hmm.
one day, and you said something to yourself.
I did. Yeah. So I was in my bedroom one day in Australia, looking out my window, and I honestly don't know where the staring came from or where the thought, popped into my head. But I was staring out my window, and I just had this intuitive gut feeling, like I knew that I knew that I knew, like without a doubt, that I was going to be working with Hugh Jackman and that I would walk the red carpet with him one day. Now, I had no idea how this was going to happen or, when or where or what steps I was going to do to get there. But all I knew was that it was going to happen. And then 1 year later, I was in The Greatest Showman and then walking the red carpet beside Hugh Jackman. And
Chills.
it still blows my mind. I mean, I still have to sometimes pinch myself and say, is this real? Like, did this happen? And I mean, me and him are pretty good friends to this day. So I'm very, very fortunate for the opportunities that I've experienced.
So I want to know a little bit about that experience, obviously, right? I don't know how many times you've told the story, but I don't care.
I never get time telling you.
Yeah, I'm sure. And you're on Dela's show, so you got to tell it anyways.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, the experience of being in The Greatest Showman was, an experience like no other. I mean, literally being on set and being in The Greatest Showman, you're in a circus environment. And for me, like, it was a dream come true to be, around so many talented performers. These are all people that are, some of the top talented people in the world. Like, for example, Zendaya, Hugh Jackman, Zac Efron, I was just so humbled and honored to be on the same stage as them, to be called up, to be told that, I'm on their level. It was very, very mind blowing. I'm still, you can hear it in my voice. It still shocks me, today that they were, want to work with someone like me who I don't have any formal, training or any formal experience in acting. I just did it in high school, and a lot of people say that I have natural talent, which, that's debatable, but,
Oh, come on. You can't say that.
Well,
you were on The Greatest Showman.
Thank you.
Must be true.
I guess.
But it would be. I mean, what an amazing experience for sure to be able to do that. But when you got that call, Sam, when you got the call and they told you that you got the part, what was happening?
Geez, I mean, I'm going back to it a little bit right now, actually. When I got the notification that I had, been cast as a role Tom Thumb, just so many thoughts went through my head. Like, I started mentally packing. I started doubting myself. I started asking questions like, is this real? Am I dreaming? Am I awake right now? Have they picked the right person? Like, am I wasting their time? So many thoughts raced through my head. I really didn't have the time to process it properly. I mean, I think I really started to process it when I actually landed in New York and got to the set. And when I met Michael Gracie, a director, and when I met Hugh Jackman for the very first time, I think that was when it really kind of sunk in. But it's also surreal. And when I met Hugh for the first time, I think I blew it when I met Hugh, because my first impression with Hugh, I tried to play like, that that cool,
Oh yeah, like,
cool
oh,
blase,
hey
like,
you.
it doesn't really matter. Like, hey Hugh, how's it going? What's going on? And I did not play it cool. I didn't. I think I blew my first impression, but it
Did
was
you jump
okay.
on him?
I did at one point, not at our first reunion, because that would have been weird. But I did after we started filming. He did. So we shot our first scene on the 2nd of December, 2017, with my very first scene of the movie. Was my very first shooting day of the movie. And that was the scene where we shot in the cabin with me, with Hugh, and me as Charles Stratton in the little cabin. And so we ran through that scene, and I found it very hard to actually get in character because, I was literally like a meter away from Hugh Jackman, face to face with him. I was in shock. Like, I couldn't get into character because I was in shock. But he started saying all these really sweet things to me. He started like trying to get me into character. He said, Sam, you're amazing. He said things like, out of all the people that auditioned for this role, you landed the role. And you're here in New York with us. You beat out hundreds of other people, and it was just really, really beautiful things to hear from someone who I had admired and looked up to for so long. Um, and I started to cry. I started to break down because, to hear these words from someone I admired and from someone who was the reason I got into acting to start with was just very overwhelming. And so I broke down into tears. And then we started to roll the scene. So we just started to do the scene because I guess I was emotional enough to where they wanted. As it turns out, I got a little too emotional, so we couldn't use the scene. So we ended up reshooting it. But we did the scene, and then I walked back into the cabin, into my bedroom, and then I came back out after they called cut. And I actually walked up to Hugh and I said, "Hey Hugh, I know what you were doing to me," like, because he was just trying to get me into like the emotional state for my character. And I called him a dick. And everyone was shocked. They were like, "Whoa!" They're like, "Sam just called Hugh a dick." But he was like, "I'm sorry, like I had to try and get you into character." But then he was very, very sweet. He gave me a hug and he picked me up and he said, "Are you okay? Like, is everything okay?" And everything was great. And it was such a beautiful moment that I'll never forget that moment. That we shared.
Oh, that's beautiful, Sam. Oh, wow. Dreams come true. Dreams come
They
true.
do, absolutely.
They do. I mean, you stood there and you so believed in this power of making your own reality. And you told me, Dela, we make our own reality. You said, one day I'm going to work with Hugh Jackman. You had no idea. And I'm going to walk the red carpet with him. And it's amazing. It's amazing to do something like that and live through it and look back. And so now that you look back, what is the most important lessons?
Yeah, I believe I've learned so many lessons along the way, with all the experiences and the challenge and the struggles I've gone through. But I think one of the most valuable lessons I learned is to never give up. Because if you continue to grind and hustle and just keep on working and have faith, you got to trust the process. Things don't always happen, when we want them to happen. I grew up in a Christian home and I am a Christian. I believe that God, has a plan for all of us. We create our own reality, yes, but at the same time, we have to believe in, if you're like me, I believe in a higher power. So I believe that, God also gives us what we want in his timing. So you have to create your own reality, but also believe in the timing of, the universe, God, karma, whatever it is that you believe in. because as in my book, my power quote is that failure isn't the end, it's really just the beginning. So I believe that we have to fail in order to succeed. If you don't fail, you can't succeed, because, that's the only way we know that we are succeeding, that when we fail and we get back up time and time again. So it doesn't matter how many times you fall down. All that matters is how many times you get back up. So as long as you get back up, at the end of the day, nothing can stop you.
Those are really great words. Let's see what people are saying. What an incredible light you are, Sam. Deborah says. And she would love to see that documentary. So the documentary was called again one more time.
It's called Being Me, Sam Humphrey. You can also go check it out at my website, which is sam.d.actor. So it's samghumphrey.actor. That's my personal website. You can go check it out. Or you can also look it up on YouTube. It's Being Me, Sam Humphrey, The Journey.
Being Me, Sam Humphrey, The Journey. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So let's see what else there is here. Deborah says, we must be relentless. It's true. Babak says, never give up. Yes, that's the best lesson. I completely agree. Never give up. Believe it and achieve it, Debbie says. Here's the thing. When you made that announcement to God, to universe, like you said, to your higher power, whoever you believe in, you made that announcement. It was nearly impossible. No. I'm going to change that, because obviously you've proven it to be possible. Improbable, but possible.
It was very improbable.
Yeah, yes. And that's the thing, isn't it? Because a lot of us have dreams. I'll tell you mine. Okay. I want to meet Oprah Winfrey one day. And yes. So like in my dream, I'm having lunch with Oprah. And so, yes. And so we're actually cooking together, but those are minor details. But
love it.
So improbable, but possible, because you just never know. Like you said, Sam, one thing leads to another one, like one piece of the puzzle at a time, and they get you to where you want to be. And all we have to do is believe and have faith and take actions. Well, you can't sit at home and do nothing.
Absolutely.
Right.
I think one of the most important things is, and I think a lot of people fail to realize that they don't need to know the entire plan. All you need to know is, what's the next step? What's the next thing I have to do? What's the next thing in front of me to get me to the next step and the next step and the next step? You don't need to see, you don't need to see the whole roadmap. That's why we have a map. A map shows us where to go. You just need to know where to put your footing next. And for me, that all I knew was I just had to do the next audition. I just had to, talk to the next person, and the next person. And then, I got to where I wanted to go. And I think when we have, as we say, improbable dreams, people, we think, oh, that's improbable or that's impossible. So we think, what's something more realistic that's obtainable? And I think that is when we start to have a quote-unquote plan B. And for me, I never wanted to have a backup plan, because a plan B is just, it's just kind of admitting to yourself that you will fail. And I know it's hard not to have a plan B, but, if you don't have a backup plan, then you're highly, highly motivated to make plan A work. You have to. It's do or die.
Having a plan B, it's like not 100%. Not 100% having faith. That, yes, you're so right. You're so right. And yet most of us, we walk through life and say, have a plan B.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, in society, we're always taught, have a backup plan or have a fail safe. Which, don't get me wrong, I do believe that we should have, we should be realistic in the goals that we set, but at the same time, it's not, it's not stupid to, reach for the stars or reach for, the dreams that you have, because you never know what's going to happen. And I know this might sound cheesy, but you only live once. So, why not try and reach for the stars? Because if you fail, at least you'll fail, much higher than the rest of the people that never try. And I always say that you only truly fail when you don't, try. Because if you don't try, then you've already failed.
Oh, that's so good. Someone said to me once, aim for Mars. At least that way, if you don't make it to Mars, you'll land on the moon.
Ah, yes, I love that. Yeah, I've heard another one very similar to that, which is aim for the moon, and if you fail, at least you'll land among the stars.
Oh, that's nice. See, yes,
I love
yes.
that. Yeah.
So Debbie says, believe it and achieve it. Debbie says, my dream is not for myself; it's for my partner to meet his idol, Steve Harvey.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. I'd love to meet him too. He is. I've watched a lot of his videos and interviews and things. He is amazing. Like, I mean, I love his inspiration and his wisdom. He's such an amazing guy.
See, you put it out there, Debbie. You put it out there. I know someone who knows Steve Harvey.
Put it out into the universe. That's all you have to do.
Yes. His name is Robert J. Moore. I think you know him too, Debbie. Marianne says, love the next step concept.
Thank you.
Yes. Love it. Let's see. Bobak says, Dela, if you really want to meet Oprah Winfrey, I can introduce you to her.
There you go, connections.
You just have to wait for me to become a billionaire. Hey, put it out there, Bobak. Put it out there. Thank you.
Put it out there.
Do it for me. I love it. Okay, so Debbie says, a plan B is nothing but a scapegoat plan for yourself.
Yeah.
Marianne says, love you. Oh, would love you too, Marianne. Okay, so
love to all you guys.
Yeah. There's so much love here. Everybody who's on here, they believe in achieving your dreams. That's why they watch shows like this.
Absolutely. I mean, that's why I watch shows like this as well.
Yeah.
And another thing that I kind of, in believing, with all the shows that I went through, I am creating a platform called The Little Guy. And I'm actually wearing a shirt right now. It might be a little bit hard to show you guys.
Let's see. What is it? Just read it for us.
So it's a shirt. Let me see if I can. So it says, standing up for the little guy. So the brand is called The Little Guy and standing up for the little guy.
Yes.
So the reason I started this was because going through all the challenges and all the struggles that I went through, I want to inspire and I want to change the lives of people that are going through challenges and struggles like myself. And my goal is, if I can just impact one person, then I've done my job. And I believe that, and the philosophy of The Little Guy is, I believe that we're all human beings. And in today's society, there's so many labels and there's so many, differences in, religion, politics, gender equality, and all these kinds of things that I think we've kind of lost the focus of what's really important. And I'm a huge advocate of diversity, inclusion, and empowerment. I'm a huge advocate for disability rights, human rights. I am actually partnered with a number of different nonprofit organizations, such as the hat that you saw me wearing earlier was Gotcha for Life. I am actually partnered with them, and they are a suicide awareness organization. They believe that every life is sacred, and that if you're struggling, you need to reach out and ask for support. And I am a huge advocate to help people dealing with suicide and any sort of mental health awareness issues, because I've gone through all of that myself. And there are a number of amazing organizations out there that you can get support from if you do need help. So yeah.
It's all awesome. All these projects are amazing, and it sounds like you're having so much fun doing them. And they're definitely going to impact the world. Are you kidding? I'm a true believer in sharing your experiences so that other people can learn from them, and that's the premise of this show too. How can people find out more about these projects if they want to get involved?
So I have on all my social media, I have Facebook, which is Sam Humphrey. Then I have Instagram, which is the Sam Humphrey. I do have Twitter, but I don't really use it. So I mainly use Instagram. I don't tweet. No, I'm not a tweeter. But I mainly use Instagram. So if you do have Instagram, then you can follow me. Just turn on all the push notifications, or on Facebook as well. And you can stay up to date with all of my projects and all the things that I'm doing. And the little guy is not currently released yet, but we will be launching the Little Guy initiative and platform in August. There'll be a website available, and you will also be able to purchase these shirts if you would like to support us and support the mission of the Little Guy.
Sam, you're such a great little man.
Thank you.
Great man. Great man.
I try. I do my best.
And you're such a great example for so many people. As you said, there are so many people who need this inspiration. And thank you for doing what you are doing to help everyone else. Your message is loud and clear. And so I really, really appreciate you being here. Let's see what people are saying. As Coach Larry says, love that standing up. Love that standing up for the little guy. Me too. Debbie says, "Oh my gosh, we need you on our show, Sam."
Oh, thank you.
You will feel right at home. They have a great show called Stroke TV. And
I feel at home anywhere.
Yeah. Oh, see, home is. Oh yeah. Home is
where the heart is.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And you have a big heart, Sam.
Oh, thank you.
And Coach Larry says, you're absolutely awesome, Mr. Samuel. And
you too, Mr. Stephen.
The world needs more Samuel. I agree.
Wow.
I agree.
No, so much love.
I know, right? I know. It's amazing. So we have a couple more minutes. I want to give you a couple more minutes to, leave us with whatever you like, Sam Humphrey. And I really appreciate you being here today. Go ahead.
Well, thank you. I am very honored to be here. And yeah, I mean, my whole philosophy is, about spreading love and positivity. With everything that I've gone through, why spread negativity? It's so much easier. I believe it's so much easier to spread positivity than it is to spread negativity. It takes more energy to be a negative person, I think. And that's the whole philosophy of the Little Guy, is creating unity in, today's society. Because with all the division that we have in today's society, with all the labels of, politics, religion, equality, I think there's no platform that creates unity among everyone. And that's what I want to do with the little guy, is create a platform where no matter what you believe in or who you are, you feel loved, appreciated, and supported, by the little guy, because everyone is the little guy. No matter who you are, we've all felt small in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, but that's why I do the things that I do, and that's why I work on the projects that I work on. Because I'm a huge advocate for everyone. I'm a huge advocate for disability rights. I'm a huge advocate for human rights. I'm a huge advocate for just being a good human being, because at the end of the day, we are only human. And I think that should be the focus of, that should be the sole focus of what we all, worry about and what we all talk about, is how can we connect to each other? How can we create unity among each other rather than division? Because there is so much division in today's world and in today's society. And so that's what I believe in, and that's what the little guy stands for. And, that is the message that I try and spread out there to the world. Saying before, I believe in, equality amongst, human beings. I believe that we all have the right to, equal treatment and equal opportunities. And so the little guy, the philosophy of the little guy is that no matter who you are or what you believe in, or, whether it's religion, politics, sexual equality, whatever it is, the little guy is there to support you, because we believe that everyone is equal and everyone is the same in terms of what they deserve. So, yeah, we want to create a safe space and a space of unity, no matter what you believe in or who you are.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Sam. Thank you so much for being here today. I had such a great time. I can't believe that we went through the hour so fast, and it was so much fun talking to you. I hope that you come back here and catch us up on whatever it is you're doing. And any movie projects coming up soon that we can look out for?
Yeah. So I am currently, as we mentioned before, I did pivot into producing in 2020. So I do have a few projects that I'm currently working on. We have a animation that we're working on, and we have 2 live action projects that we're currently in development with. And hopefully, if we get the green light to go ahead and start shooting those within the next year, I'll be able to announce those on my social media. But
amazing.
Like I said,
amazing.
Definitely stay tuned to all my social media. You'll get all the latest updates about what I'm doing.
Thank you. Sam Humphrey, I'm going to get you to promise me something. When you get as you get more famous and more famous and more famous, please don't forget me.
Oh, never. I could be on top of the world and never forget you.
Okay, we got him on film, you guys.
You have me on film, so I can't break that promise.
Thank you. You're such a delight, Sam. It's so wonderful to know you, and thank you for sharing your story with us today. And so for everyone who stuck around, even through the technical glitch that we had, thank you so much. Bobek says, I never give up on you, Dela. Thank you. I appreciate it. And so, never. So please do share this talk with other people. If you found it inspiring, I promise you other people will too. And share this hour with them. And thank you for being here as always. This has been another Dela's Voice, sparking your soul. Thank you, Sam, for being here one more time.
Thank you for having me, and thank you to everyone who tuned in to watch or listen. Sending all of my love and gratitude to all of you guys. You guys are all amazing, and I love you guys so much. Remember, spread love and positivity.
Yes, love and positivity. See you, Sam Humphrey, very soon.